Where is it worth buying real estate? Let's find that out together in this video. And in this video, we'll learn what's our real estate approach to find good deals in the current real estate market. Obviously, there are different real estate strategies in Germany. You can categorize this in A, B, C, and D cities. Okay? So an A city is, for example, Berlin or Munich. This would be an A city. A B city would be, for example, probably Bonn or any bigger city which is not a big city. Okay? So Bonn, for example, or maybe Wiesbaden next to Frankfurt would be a B city. Okay? A C city would be any small city, you name it. And a D city, well, it's not a city actually, it's a village, or maybe any small city which is very far away from any other big city. Okay? So many people think that the A city is the best investment. Well, it's like always an investment. In the A city, you have typically the lowest profits and the biggest safety net. So A city for investment purpose, if you would like to buy real estate and to rent it out, I'm not quite sure if you should go for an A city. What's more interesting is the B or the C city. Especially a C city next to an A city. Really interesting. What is our approach? Let's discuss that in different scenarios. What we really like to do is the following. Let me give you an example from the Rhine-Main region. So here is Frankfurt am Main. Here is Darmstadt. Just make it easy. And here is Wiesbaden. So many people are now searching for real estate in Frankfurt am Main itself, or in Darmstadt or Wiesbaden. But what actually makes the most sense is that you look for apartments in this triangle here. Why? Well, there are two rules in real estate, which are the most important rules in real estate. And if you follow these rules, then it's theoretically a good investment. First, buy more or less cheap. Second, you always need a good tenant, which means high demand for apartments in that specific size, and also good tenants with a good income and so on. So, rule one, do you find cheap apartments or cheap real estate in a big city? You might be, but pretty unrealistic. So no. So rule one, not met. Do you find a good tenant always in Berlin or Munich? 100%. But it's not cheap. Now, if we follow these two rules and we buy in this area here, where you have 40 to a maximum of 30 minutes next to a big city, maybe in a C city next to an A city, here you have the same people, more or less the same people, like in Frankfurt, in Darmstadt, or in Wiesbaden. It's the same region. Maybe they are working, possibly in home office in these cities. Maybe they travel by train 15 minutes to the city to save a huge amount of rent. So might be the same people, at least from the pattern of these guys, of these people, that you find in Frankfurt or in the big city itself. Which means we have good tenants and we can buy more or less cheap. Now what happens in the future? It's a big mega trend, more or less internationally, which is called urbanization. So cities are just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe remember your home country or your home city. Possibly over the last 30 years, if it's a big city, it grew and grew. So what happens now? This city, let's say this is the city, this is the city, and this is the city. But now, in, let's say 10 years, this is the city, because it's becoming bigger. This is the city, which is becoming bigger. And same applies to Frankfurt am Main. What happens? Prices are increasing here because of demand and supply. More people are moving to the suburbs to have an affordable rent. So what happens? People are moving to this region, to this region, and to this region, which leads to a good price increase, which is probably, relatively spoken, from the percentage perspective, in this area higher than in this area. Because in this area you have more space for any increase of the apartments. Because if one apartment in Frankfurt am Main costs 400,000, it might only cost 200, 250 in the region. So you have significantly more development potential. Yes, and this applies obviously to many regions, to many cities. So, for example, let's talk about Munich briefly. So here you have Munich, and I have to say everything around Munich is expensive, actually. But what you can do is you can analyze the real estate market, and you find here an apartment, or here an apartment, or also here or here. So what you know is the prices are increasing, like the circle is becoming bigger and bigger, which means also this area might be more expensive in the future. If you now have here an apartment, you can expect pretty high growth rates regarding the value. So you could also increase the rent heavily in the future if you have, for example, a new tenant. This is one strategy. Obviously, you can just also look in the B city itself for suitable investment opportunities. It always depends on this factor, which obviously applies to many regions where you can buy cheap apartments and you also have good tenants. To summarize and to answer your question, where is it worth buying real estate? It is worth buying in Berlin or Munich, but you don't have these crazy appreciations in the future, probably. On top of that, this costs you a lot of money. So maybe you have a cluster risk because maybe you have 1 or 2 apartments in a big city, but it might make more sense to have 5, 6, 7 apartments, cheaper apartments in other cities. But still valid, just not the highest value increase here. B and C cities are particularly interesting and really interesting if they are next to an A city. Now, might sound complicated. If you would like help, so it's more simple for you, and you would like to have someone who's searching for these good, promising apartments, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help to analyze the whole real estate market in Germany and to find something suitable for your needs. So don't hesitate, visit our website, register for a free initial consultation, and we will see how we can help you. Talk to you soon.